How to knit the Spiral and Eyelet Panel for the loom. For today's tutorial, you will need your knitting loom. Today we are using the Kiss regular gauge knitting loom with no spacers in between the pins and the pegs, your knitting tools, and a ball of yarn. Today we are using Manos Maxima 100% Merino wool in the color Currant. For this stitch, we will be using the following techniques: knit stitch, purl stitch, knit two together stitch, yarn over, and slip slip knit stitch. This stitch is worked over a panel of 24 stitches on a background of reverse stockinette stitch. Row 1. Knit the first 3 stitches. Then knit 2 together. Slip the following 4 stitches over one peg. Knit those 4 stitches. Yarn over the empty peg and purl the next 2 stitches. Then the pattern calls for a yarn over and a knit 2 together. We're going to move the stitches around for the knit 2 together stitch first, then yarn over the empty peg and knit those 2 stitches off the following peg. Then purl the next 2 stitches. The pattern then calls for a yarn over, knit 4, and a slip slip knit stitch. We're going to move the stitches around for the slip slip knit stitch first to make room for the yarn over. Count over 6 stitches, lift up the 6th stitch and slip the 5th stitch onto that stitch's peg. Then set the 6th stitch down on top of that stitch. Now move the previous 4 stitches over one peg. Now yarn over the empty peg and knit the next 4 stitches. Then knit the stitches off for the slip slip knit stitch. Then knit the next 3 stitches. Row 2. Knit 9. Purl 2, knit 2, purl 2, and knit 9. Row 3. Knit the first 2 stitches. Then knit 2 together. Move the next 4 stitches over one peg. Then knit those 4 stitches. Yarn over the empty peg and knit 1 stitch. Then purl 2 stitches. Knit 2 together and slip the stitch back 1 peg. Then yarn over the empty peg and purl the next 2 stitches. Knit 1 stitch. Then the pattern calls for a yarn over stitch, knit 4, and slip slip knit. Just like on row 1, we'll move the stitches around first to make room for the yarn over stitch by counting over 6 stitches. Slip the 6th stitch off the peg and slide the 5th stitch underneath it, then set it back down on the peg. Then move the previous 4 stitches over 1 peg. Yarn over the empty peg, knit the next 4 stitches, and knit off the slip slip knit stitch. Knit 2 more stitches. Row 4. Repeat row 2. Row 5. Knit the first stitch. Then knit 2 together. Move the next 4 stitches back 1 peg and knit them off. Yarn over the empty peg and knit the next 2 stitches. Purl 2. Then the pattern calls for a yarn over and a knit 2 together, so we'll move the stitches for the knit 2 together first. Slip the next stitch onto the following peg, then yarn over the empty peg and knit the stitches off for the knit 2 together stitch. Then purl 2 stitches. Knit 2. Then the pattern again calls for us to yarn over, knit 4, and slip slip knit. So we'll do the same thing we did on rows 1 and 3, and we'll move the stitches around first, counting over 6 pegs and slipping the 5th stitch under the 6th. Then move the previous 4 stitches back 1 peg. Yarn over the empty peg, knit 4, and knit the stitches off for the slip slip knit stitch. Then knit 1. Row 6. Repeat row 2. Row 7. Knit 2 together. Then slip the next 4 stitches back 1 peg. Knit those 4 stitches. Yarn over the empty peg and knit the next 3 stitches. Purl 2 stitches. Then knit 2 together and slip the stitch back 1 peg. Yarn over the empty peg and purl the next 2 stitches. Knit 3. Then the pattern calls for us to again yarn over, knit 4, and slip, slip, knit. So just like on rows 1, 3, and 5, we will move the stitches around first. Count over 6 pegs, slip the 5th stitch under the stitch on the 6th peg. Then move the previous 4 stitches over. Yarn over the empty peg and knit the next 4 stitches. Then knit the stitches off for the slip, slip, knit stitch. Row 8. Repeat row 2. Repeat rows 1 through 8 until you've reached your desired length. And that's how you knit the spiral and eyelet panel for the loom. Want more loom knitting tutorials? Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and follow our blog at vintagestorehouse.com to get new videos and posts sent right to your inbox. Thanks for watching!